Welcome to your post 2024 election edition of the Mason and Remy No Frequency podcast. That's Remy. I'm Mason. I'm kidding. You will hear no politics, no political, nothing. But honestly, we're recording this before the election.
Yeah.
So this will be your escape 100% from anything having to do with election results. No politics in this episode. Let's say that. And this may be one to skip the conspiracy corner. It might just be a week to lay off the conspiracy corner. Maybe everybody has a lot of conspiracies that they've heard about in the last week.
One thing I can guarantee in recording this in advance is we probably do not know who the president of the United States
is.
It's
going to be that again
in this moment. Oh,
yeah. I think you're actually right.
And if everybody goes, well, no, it's this person or it's this person, then awesome, like cool. Even if they did know, yeah, we won't know, right? That's kind of where we're at. So consider this like a safe space, a cleansing episode, a cleanse your palate from the politics episode of the Mason and Remy podcast, patchwork episode, everything but politics. Yeah,
is what we're going to talk about. We put the cap on it right there with anything political. Hopefully we don't. No guarantees. Never say never. Anything's possible. But that might be it, man. Let's chat. It's been a little bit. How are you, Remy?
I'm doing well. When we are recording this, it is the day after Halloween.
It was Halloween.
It was Halloween, and it was great. It was fun. I will say, and I think that there's some evidence to substantiate my claim, but it feels like there's not a whole lot of kids that do this anymore. It just felt like the neighborhood that we go to is one of our friends' neighborhoods, and it's usually pretty packed, filled with, kids and things like that. Just hordes of children. And it didn't seem that crowded this year. And I don't know why that is. Maybe they've gone to other neighborhoods. Maybe I have no idea, but it just felt like it was low. Did you guys give out candy at your house? How was that?
Better than last year.
Okay.
I found myself this year, very funny that you say that, like you talk. I also think there's not as many as there used to be, but I'll talk about the impact of trunk or treat events on your neighborhood's trick or treat. We'll talk about that coming up. It's a little tease. I thanked a man for coming down the cul-de-sac this year. What is my life when I'm thanking people to come for, I was like, thank you for taking some of this candy we bought because I want to keep living. But now I literally have 2-3 bags of peanut butter pumpkins I got to eat through, the debt we pay. But no, seriously, I found myself watching, we're looking out the front and we live on a cul-de-sac and I can see the people at the end, they're out in their driveway, which is awesome. And I think that also has something to do with it because I think you said you go to visit your friends. I'm guessing people all culminate and then we all go as a group, right?
Yeah.
But that is then we're taking it all to the good neighborhoods. And I don't know if I live in the best neighborhood. If I'm weighing big candy bars versus houses per walk, you know what I mean? Am I going for king size? I know we've talked about this a little bit previously, but I would watch parents as they drive up to the cul-de-sac and judge whether or not it's worth coming to my house for candy. You could see it. No, not enough lights on down there. You know what I mean? And they keep going. I also saw, this made me sad. I also saw the mom pulling her kid by. We don't have lights on the front of our garage or on the front of our house. They're in the ceiling of the roof.
Recessed lighting.
Yeah. So when it was right at 5:00, you couldn't tell that we were there. And I made eye contact with this mom who's dragging her 4-year-old, who you could visibly tell is I'm just doing this because I have to do this, you see those parents that she just has not the garbage bag, the grocery bag, the little plastic grocery bag. You can tell it's we're not buying you a pumpkin pail from McDonald's. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
So she didn't want to come by, but it was some of those moments. But we did see more kids than last year. So improvements there. Happy to say growth year over year is how I operate now. Yeah. So you weren't home to hand out candy. You were out doing the candy consuming.
So just to give you an idea of my neighborhood, and I think I might have discussed this at some point, but just for a quick refresher, our subdivision is only one street and Emerson and Leo are the only 2 kids on the street.
That's right.
So We did have some neighbors across the street that moved a couple years ago when they knew that they could get a lot of money for their house, and so they sold.
Smart.
But they had kids, and now they are gone. So the only other kids in the neighborhood are high schoolers, and there's two girls that live, or I guess one girl is in high school, the other one just went to college. So what happens in our neighborhood is that the neighbors come to us. So on the day before Halloween, the kids are out in the front yard with the guinea pigs. And one of our neighbors came from down the street and said, "Hey, here's your trick or treat bags for this year, like little ice cream, like Ted Drew's ice cream."
Oh,
She's like, "You're gonna want to put this in the freezer though, because it's ice cream or custard." And
oh,
and then our neighbors next door dropped off some stuff at our front door, and so when we got back last night, there was more candy on the front door for the kids. So
oh, well, you live in a bizarro world. That is
yeah.
fantastic
Well, they're
because
all
my
senior citizens, so they're
yeah,
all
that's
and nobody ever comes down our block. Like, it was so the first couple of years that we were here, we would go out trick or treating, people were taken by surprise because there's just no kids. There's
yeah,
no kids in our neighborhood, so
yeah,
and it's kind of tucked away. So we
yeah.
go elsewhere, and we don't really participate, which is because I like handing out candy. Maybe we'll get to that point, but
Yeah, and like time will go. Maybe it'll fill in. More people will come around. I've seen your house. You look like a king size house. But you're right but it's man, it's got to be efficiency. And I'm looking at the data of your long street, and I'm like, nah. Just like the
yep,
parents who are surveying my cul-de-sac, going 1, 2, 3, 4 houses with lights, but there's like 7 houses down there. So
yeah,
sorry, kids. We just keep going. But yeah, I think, and that's adorable. By the way, I love that they prepare they bring and drop off candy while I live 2 doors down from someone who literally left the bowl on the porch.
yep.
And I have never heard kids so excited in my life. I think they came out and filled it a couple. I don't know how it kept going for 3 hours of trick or treating time, because the neighbor was out there handing out candy, and my wife and I were on the front porch handing out candy. Um, and then like they would see the bowl on the porch of the next house and be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
unattended candy,"
yeah.
because we've all seen the video of the kid who's like, "Oh, hell yeah," and takes off his backpack, right? Um, I think I saw some parents do it too this year. Like the kid was actually nice, and mom went up and grabbed a couple pockets full, and I was like,
Jeez.
"Yee." But
Not
she
in
was
our
probably
town.
not. She was probably the same lady that was yelling at the McDonald's worker for the Croc keychain
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little while back.
It's so funny because there was one house we were at where there's a bowl just on the driveway, and there was a sign, and I said, "You better read the instructions." And it was like, yeah, I made it audible so that all the parents around could hear
Well done.
that we are parenting our
That's
children
right.
to be one piece of candy children.
Because 3 or 4 doors down, people like me are judging what's happening,
Yeah.
right? Looking out the front door like, "Here come these guys." I watched a group
Want
of
the neighbor to
kids.
be like, "You know what? That's a good parent right there.
He's doing it
Yeah,
right. Well, and then like I said, I saw the mother who went up, stuffed her pockets full, and I was like, "Karma gonna get you.
her parents."
The candy karma gonna get you." And I also saw the opposite of the people who were like, "I'm not going down there," and that when there was the group of kids who were like, "Can we go down there?" And they said yes. They ran full speed at the bowl of candy on the one porch. Like this is in between. They went for the middle and then they fanned out. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like this was the goal. Obviously, they funneled to the free candy. But yeah. So a lot of dad tax. You're doing the dad tax, right? You're
Yeah.
taking the yeah.
I had a couple Kit Kats before we started.
See, Kit Kats, peanut butter cups, right? I gotta believe that's like top tier. We
Yeah, they
we
don't
went
like the kids don't like Twix, so Twix is on the
nice,
board.
okay, on the
Um,
outs for them, so kinda
and
comes
also
in.
only one of the children likes Nerds, and I know that Nerds are pretty much just a death trap, right? There's zero qualities about Nerds that are healthy in any regard, but
It's
I
just
don't know.
sugar, right? It's sugar
So
and
good.
and
So
oh,
good. And the
yeah, absolutely.
clusters, oh, the gummy clusters, phew, come on now. So, yeah,
I
dead tax happens.
I gotta
Hey,
be honest, Nerds might be the thing I miss most about Halloween, because as you said it, I was like, "Damn, my mouth is watering for some grape Nerd, some purple Nerd right
purple
now."
Nerds.
Yeah, dude, and you know what? I don't get them because I'm like Kit Kats and peanut butter. I'm like, I want the top tier, but I'm not listening to my heart and my taste
Yeah,
buds. You
heart
said it.
wants that
I'm
sugar.
like, I'm seriously drooling right now,
That
like,
pure crystallized hardened sugar coated
put
with
it
something.
in my mouth.
The red number
100%.
5.
Yeah,
The red
exactly.
one, number
I
5.
wasn't gonna bring it up. I just saw a video this morning in my feed that was like crushed up parasitic insects, and I
Oh,
went,
yeah,
"Why
yeah.
are you ruining sugar for me?" It was literally about nerds. I wasn't gonna bring it up until you said
These
red.
insects taste delicious, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, insects. The Lord giveth. Anyway. I'm not religious in any way, but hey, here we are. Um, so yeah, I know Halloween was, obviously a big moment for a lot of folks, and then whatever happened between Halloween and now, we're skipping. What else has been going on for you? You traveled to Florida. I know in the week prior you've been just Halloween and focused over the last little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we've just been doing the school thing, and I don't
Dude,
know.
I'm so jealous that your neighbors bring your kids like frozen custard.
Yeah,
That's so amazing.
yeah. It is pretty awesome. I think about that, with them, it's they know that we leave, so they try and come to them before we go
Yeah.
elsewhere, to give them whatever so that they get it. But that just lets you know that we're not the crazy neighbors in this neighborhood,
Dude, that's so
um,
cool.
which is
I
awesome.
I
So
haven't really like I've lived here a year and a half plus. Like I think in March it'll be 2 years, and I've met and we are friends with that neighbor on my left. And I just recently talked to the neighbor on my right when I was doing concrete outside. He was like, I haven't done concrete since I was 10. I was like, okay, this is my first time. You don't have to shame me, bro. You
yeah,
don't have to tell me you did this when you were a kid. I get it. I'm bad at it. I've seen it. No, but like our neighbors are, I'm out in the yard, man. I'm old man out in the yard, like pulling weeds out on the weekend. Plenty of opportunities to be like, hey, neighbor, you know what I
yeah,
mean? But I don't want to approach. You know what I mean? That's the thing is I don't want to approach and be like, howdy ho. I've had those odd interactions with my neighbor where I was out mowing the lawn and they were taking pictures in the front yard with their kids. And she had her phone out. This is how warped my mind is from years of social media work. She has her phone out in front of her and she's looking at me. And I feel like she is like, whenever you're done mowing the lawn, I'm going to take this video.
yeah.
So I stop mowing the lawn and I go ahead. I don't even ask. I don't even ask. And they go, what? And I went, oh, go ahead. Are you about to film a video? I'm so like,
That's
I'm
so
an
good.
idiot. They're like, no.
I think about that stuff though sometimes because every once in a while our next door neighbor will set up a hammock in between two trees, and I'm like, well, I was planning on mowing, and you're planning on relaxing, so someone's gonna have to figure something out here.
Yeah, sorry, bro. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, so I was like, "Oh my god!" I said, "I'm so sorry. It looked like you were filming a video, and I thought you were waiting for me." Like it's just I don't know. I'm that awkward neighbor that you have that does that, and that's the only interaction you have with me, except for
Yeah,
in the drive. In and out. That's like, and that's it. That's it. Keaton actually, the kiddo who works at Epiphany Farms, the restaurant, met the neighbors before I did because he served them at dinner. And he has noticeable hair. So they're like, hey, don't you? Dad's
Mhm.
always out in the yard, all that kind of thing. Yeah. So he's met more of the neighbors than I have at this point. But
Yeah, that's good
anyway,
though. That's good though.
no, I'm jealous. The custard situation. First off, I miss Ted Drews. Closest thing I got is Culver's. Uh, but and I can't do that. I can't do that all the time, right? That's a terrible thing. But when the neighbors bring it over, I'd have to eat it.
Yeah, I also can't do that anymore because I am apparently lactose intolerant now.
Is this happening to more and more people right now? I thought we were going to stay away from conspiracy corner.
I don't.
But listen,
Well, I guess yeah, it could be a conspiracy.
when it comes to milk and stuff, there's a lot of talk,
It
right?
could
Like,
also just be that uh, from my Google research,
oh,
between the ages of 20 and 40, you can develop a intolerance to lactose. So that is what has happened. I've been, as you age, we've talked about this. You start to notice different things that are happening with your body that didn't happen before.
oh yeah.
One of those things is I love ice cream. I love ice cream. I love custard, and I love that it accompanies movies and things that I watched with my wife after a long day so
You're
well.
just a human. Yeah, man.
And I would go to bed every night after an ice cream and be like, gosh, dang. Like sometimes I would wake up and the stabbing pain in my stomach would be so severe. And I'd be like, what is going on? I didn't eat anything out of the norm. And then finally pinpointed it as one of our other friends who is lactose intolerant had described some of her symptoms. And I was like,
Okay.
wait a second.
Really?
So I did an experiment where
Oh no.
I bought some Lactaid from the store, like the tablets or the pills or whatever, and you're supposed to eat one with your first bite of whatever, dairy product you're eating.
And it's supposed to make it so you don't feel that?
It
I was
is.
gonna ask
It's an
what lactate.
enzyme. So lactase breaks down lactose.
Oh,
And when your
okay.
body
Oh.
doesn't produce enough lactase,
Mhm.
then you end up feeling bloated and crampy and gassy and all these things. Some
Oh.
of which is very normal for me. But it was so out of the blue. And so I tried that and all of a sudden it wasn't as bad. But here's the kicker:
That's interesting.
pizza,
No problem.
cheese,
Uh-huh.
all that is fine. So I don't know if like ice cream is it's basically just frozen milk, or maybe it's the heavy cream that's in it. I don't know, but that's
Is it
what affects me the worst.
is it ice cream? No, you are I apologize for everyone as we start to talk about human plumbing.
Yes.
You're preaching to the choir. Annie's was Annie's
Mhm.
in Glen Carbon where I lived was where I first noticed that it induces a visit to the bathroom for me now.
Yeah.
Like when it went like specifically, and I'm like, this is milk. This is supposed to do the opposite. This is supposed to bind me up, right? Like you said, cheese.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to have the opposite issue. This is not supposed to be like coffee,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I noticed it then, and I still notice it to this day. And I'm first off, welcome to the club, buddy. I'm so happy that you're bringing the I'm getting old shit to the table,
Yeah.
because it wasn't me this time, but I have experienced this. And just in the last week, like my wife went and got some moose tracks or something, from like Target. She's like, I always do the grocery shopping, but she has discovered the Target cart and the ability to just go pick up now. And so she's like, this is easy. Sometimes she's going rogue on me and buying groceries that she knows I won't buy because I'll eat this ice cream, man. Because I was once like close to 300 pounds and I'm like trying not to be anymore. But it's delicious and I love it too, man. And my dad used to have ice cream every night and he's fighting to keep his levels down. The doctors give him you know what I mean? He has been diabetic. He has fought back, you know what I mean, and reclaimed the levels he needs to be at. And now he's getting to the age where he's like, I'm starting not to care anymore. Like I want ice cream.
Yeah.
And I fear that, but I feel that because I at night will find myself going, I want something sweet. I don't care what it is. And I'll have a Sprite if we got it.
Yep.
And we don't, which is good. But I find that I first off, can relate. Second off, want to try this lactate situation, and is it a real solution?
You should.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't
because
think there's any harm in trying it.
yeah,
It's very benign. It's just you're
and it's
essentially just
very common.
you're adding an enzyme into your gut to
That's
help break
lacking,
down.
which is what's happening, right? I mean, WebMD Remy here to WebMD Remy here to make sure I am informed. No,
Yes.
I appreciate that. I feel you, man, and I gotta believe that this is happening to more people than just us. I think it's more. I think if you, well, yeah, I mean, you searched it, you found it, but I mean, amongst people who may be consuming this, you feeling
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Feeling that?
Yeah, I'd love to know if you do have any commentary on this, like if you do have some sort of data behind why the ice cream specifically and not necessarily the cheese. Maybe I don't feel the cheese as much. I don't know. But
But
maybe there's like some level of lactose that's so much higher in ice cream that perpetuates that. I don't know. So
is it a specific brand or is it every ice cream? Is it the frozen custard and the ice cream?
it's most ice creams. I'm trying to think of the last one that I had. It was from a shop here in town. We've got a little like hand scooped
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, nice.
Baskin Robbins situation that isn't Baskin Robbins.
Right.
But that it really fired up. Even with Lactaid, it really fired up on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We can move on from butt talk if you
Well,
want.
I guess yeah, you know what? I gotta tell well, I guess we did. I was like, I gotta tell you, we got through this whole thing without talking about butts. So and I had met plenty of opportunities. When you were like, middle of my night, my stomach hurts. I was like, what are you trying not to wake up the wife? What's going on? Let it go. Let it go. Yeah, but we can definitely move on from that. But I don't think we're alone. One, and two, do you have anything else besides Lactaid that can solve this issue and make it so we can deliciously eat this ice cream?
Mhm.
Delicious.
And abstinence cannot be an option.
Not from ice cream.
Not from ice cream, no.
Right. Stay pure, kids. Speaking of pure, let's talk about radio stuff that we have seen coming up. I'm pretty sure that the day we released our last episode, another big headline in St. Louis radio cuts as far as was it the sports station there, and lots of folks, right?
The entire morning show for 101 ESPN,
Which was
Randy Carricker,
3-4 people, right?
Brooke Grimsley, Danny Mack, former Cardinals announcer,
Oh.
and their producer / board op. They were all terminated from their post. And
I feel like two of them I haven't interacted with. Randy, I never really took issue with. We, pass in the hallways, hello, right? Like nice guy.
Yeah.
Danny Mack, battling some demons, some going through some trouble from time to time. Yeah. I'm battling if I want to share like the small interactions with Danny Mack that I had in my head, because in my previous life, it mattered that I should not share them. But as time goes on, it feels like these are, I don't know, stories play out and you go, huh, right? Like you meet these people that you see on TV all the time, and then you're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't meet your heroes. Not a hero to me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Was just a dude. I've worked in the media for a long time, so I've met a lot of folks who have a spotlight and a microphone and that kind of thing, but like seem to be in a pretty good spot, and unfortunately stuff didn't go the right way.
Yeah.
I hope the best for everybody, obviously.
Yeah, it's tough when a legend in the St. Louis sports scene.
Yeah.
Randy Carricker is let go in what appears to be just another cost saving effort, so it sucks in that regard. I think he'll find another outlet. Somebody will hire him at some point, or maybe he'll just go off into the distance and retire, because I think he was at least approaching that, if not thinking about it. It's a little different when you're in radio, because you just kind of need your voice and an opinion to talk. So and an opinion to make substance. You don't have to
give a
work
shot.
You're not working with your hands. You're not out there. It's not manual labor. So it's totally possible to do radio or TV or whatever up until you just want to relax for the last several years of your life. But I don't know what his plans are.
He could still do it. Yeah.
But I posted up on my Facebook page and I said, reflecting on my friends who were let go in yet another round of radio cuts today, good, genuine, and talented individuals lost in an instant. To the radio executives reading this, because there's a lot of radio executives that I am, quote, friends with. Your employees live in fear every day. Change that. Since I was let go in January, there have been at least 3 more rounds of cuts. How many more will we see before the end of the year? There's another little, I guess, radio adage, and that is, hey, for Christmas, would you also like to get fired? Because they always do cuts around Christmas time as well, which is like icing on the cake, right? It's already stressful enough at that time of year, and then you get let go on top of it. But there's some people that have commented. I'm not going to say their names, but someone had said working at iHeart was the scariest time in my life. And this was like, we worked with this guy 8 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say 14 years ago.
Yeah. So this is the climate then. He said working at iHeart was the scariest time of my life. I thought I was doing a good job, but at any moment I felt like my job could be eliminated. I honestly think that it had a severe impact on my psyche that I'm still working through.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone telling you that you're great, and then knowing that behind an office door, those same people are figuring out a way to get rid of you. I get it. Money needs to be made, but at what cost?
We've talked about it before. That same feeling.
Yeah.
First like love. Um, I would love to think that it's not specific to iHeart because we've had it happen in other places. It's
Yes.
the industry. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
and myself now. You've worked in a corporate environment, um, for a little while. Like, yeah, okay, we get it. Your numbers on a spreadsheet, but like just the blatant disrespect for like decency in some moments seems crazy. The ask of the hours that you will work, and yet you're not full time. Like my first job in radio, I was told we can pay you for 20 hours a week, but we're gonna need you for much more. I was I was I was 18. I was like
You're probably thrilled about that at that point.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. And it's sad. Like, but also it gave me a foot in the door of the industry I wanted to be so much of a part of. You know what I mean? I didn't think I was going to do anything for the rest of my life. It's
Yeah.
arguable to say I am still doing this. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I get it, but I hate to see because people's livelihoods depend on this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they have families to feed while you're continuing to not get to the root of the problem. No one can get to the root of the problem. When you can't generate money from ad sales, has anybody looked at who's selling? How that method is going, or maybe the ways that we're doing it, or should we just like cut all these people that have names recognizing what's the right word? Name recognition and people that people know that have worked their whole lives to be creative individuals to go on the air and say whatever garbage you need to promote plus whatever they would actually be passionate about
Yeah.
and somehow find a place in between there to hope that for the next week they have a job. I remember it in Chicago, brother, at iHeart, and I remember it in St. Louis in different places at different companies.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it's kind of an industry thing, it feels like.
To that point, there were a couple people on this post that got like pretty interesting engagement for just a random text post. But I think it struck a chord emotionally because there's a lot of other industries this year specifically that have been hit. I mean, they talk about Boeing cutting jobs here in St. Louis every day,
Mhm.
like 10% of the workforce, or Google, or
Overall
Facebook, or
economy could be a
whatever.
contributing factor.
Exactly. And I think that's the point that I wanted to drive home is the overall sentiment that yes, this year has been hard for businesses, and I understand that. I don't want to take that away from anybody that has lost their job that is outside of the radio industry.
That's fair.
And I responded to somebody and I said, I agree, this year has been tough for a lot of businesses. However, radio's quote canary in the coal mine died about 8 to 10 years ago, so they've had quite a head start on trying to figure out how to succeed financially, but the old guard could not turn the ship in time. And the only thing keeping terrestrial radio alive is the digital arms of these companies now. And so while, yes, this year has been hard, radio's had a head start on this. Like the outlook in radio has not been pretty for the past 15 to 20 years almost. Like you see where this thing is going. And still these old executives that are just in the position like I remember when this worked back in the 70s and the 80s. Well, it's not that anymore, right? We need to figure out another way to make the revenue. And so I want to put the onus on radio executives because I feel like those are the people, the thought leaders in the industry are who shape the industry, and they're just not. There's just nothing there. It's cuts on cuts on cuts on cuts, and all of these employees, like I said, living in fear every day. My job currently has its own drama and struggles and all, and I'm sure yours does too, but it's nowhere near what it was. It's nowhere
Right.
like I go, at least I don't have to wake up early anymore, and I don't have to worry about losing my job every day anymore. Which are two huge things, right? So that's kind of what I just wanted to touch on that. I know we're kind of not necessarily dogging on radio as much as we were in the first several episodes of this podcast, but it's still happening and it's still very real for a lot of people.
Yeah, and look, I would like to think that there are people who were in the industry with us who, we heard from after we started doing this to say, "Hey, great to see you guys back together again. So glad to hear you two talking again." And I'd like to think that what we're doing goes beyond radio. Not just now, but like as a whole. Everything we've always wanted to do has not been solely focused on radio since the first day we started the YouTube channel here. And you can look at the date. It's a pretty long time ago. Um, so yeah, I would like us to expand off of that, but we still have so many friends and family that we have, people we consider to be close to, that we share this thing we do with, because there's an artistry to it, and you feel a brotherhood or a kinship to, these people that, go into that padded room and talk to themselves as if there's people that they hope there are going to call in for whatever they're pitching out, into the ether. Did anybody hear it? I don't know. Did they call just because they heard phone numbers and thought they were going to win tickets to see something? Probably. Like it's a humbling experience, radio performance. I hear a lot about acting, and I wonder if it's similar, but it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? It feels like it's obviously a much more respected craft, and a much more larger and money generating industry, obviously perhaps run by people smarter than others. They seem to be doing like the right thing. They're able to keep up. When I see Jimmy Fallon on TikTok, or you know what I mean? Like they have people in charge of things, and they're putting the money in the right spots instead of propping up whatever thing they have and hoping it works out. And yet the people making those decisions don't move. No responsibility for what has happened for the decade prior.
Yeah.
No, let's just change the pan, or you know what I mean? Let's just change the pan and never the cook. Sounds good, guys. Good call.
Yeah. And that's so true. I haven't heard of any executive management people being let
Same
go.
people, bro. The same people we met in 2010 that were like, "Hey, great. Well, welcome aboard. Like, how are you?" Still, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I think they've been very nice to us, but like, is there no accountability for your actions? Because I follow the directions of the people who are there directing the programming, the consultants, and yet I'm the one that takes the this is probably why I wanted to like start moving away from it. 'Cause man, I got feelings, dog.
You
But
fed Mason a beer, he wants another.
bro, Frank the Tank. Are we going streaking in the quad or what? Um, but I think you hear what I'm saying, and like I also want to be clear. I don't want to be one of those people. Like I don't want to be responsible for that, because I don't know the answers. But I also don't own a multi-million-dollar company that has 800 radio stations and perhaps the R&D department to maybe look into it.
Yeah.
But when I think of where Pandora was at the same time other radio apps started launching, it felt neck and neck. Except then Pandora figured out how to do music right. And these guys were like, well, we kind of control music. Do you? I don't think you do
Mm.
anymore. Let's take a look at the stats. But wait, before you go down the hall to look at the stats, don't you have to fire a couple more people?
Yeah.
I'm all right. All right. Sodium, light sodium, a little salty. Sorry.
Well, if I had to guess, this won't be the last time, like I said in my post, that this will happen this year. I anticipate more
No.
coming, just given the pattern.
Brother, it's November, and that's terrible to think that before the end of the year they might just start cutting. You know what I mean? And it can happen. It's happened. We've seen it.
Yeah. And
Uh,
nobody, I don't think anybody is safe necessarily. Not that I'm like trying to sow seeds of fear and doubt or anything, but like there was another comment on the post that said, well-run radio stations don't make cuts. And I said, well, you're very lucky at wherever you're at. But we were told the exact same thing when we came back to St. Louis. This company's the best. They'll take care of you. All of the things. And it all crumbles the
thought a
same.
lot about that. I still hear those talent first words in my head, and I think until one bomb drops, You know what I mean? Until it goes time to actually go to battle, and then it's put the talent out there in front of the bombs and protect everybody back here in the general outfits, right?
Yeah.
Nothing feels better than being out on the battlefield with your general. I feel like that's why we did so, like guys like Mark and Steve, the people who like were on the battlefield with us in the trenches every day. They get it. They've been there. They're performers. They're people who understand what it was like to like be out there saying these things and what can happen after it and how to better utilize all that stuff. But then there are people who just don't, you know. There are
Mhm.
people who think, "Oh no, I'm going to leave that to you and give you no coaching and help you and give you 0% help." But I'm sorry, I don't want to. Yeah, uh, things are better now,
Yes. Yeah.
and they will be. You know, I had another friend. Um, I had another friend who lost his job this week. Was not at a radio company. Was at Lowe's actually. And we worked in radio together. Probably in my first couple of years, he was just a buddy of mine. And when one radio, it's such a sad story because it starts in the same way. I worked as an intern for 9 months. I got hired on to do overnights and mornings, and I did that for about a year until another company bought the station and fired everybody. And I was the only one they kept because I knew how to work the computers. They brought in new program directors, new promotions people, consultants. We executed this new thing, this pirate radio station that everybody knew. And we had like a lot of fun in that moment. But again, it starts in people getting fired, and that's kind of where I remember crying to the general manager and being like, I just watched all my friends like get fired, and you're asking me, am I gonna be here tomorrow? Like, I don't know, man. This is kind of wild. Um, but it's hard to see people, uh, you know, every day who think that they are doing their best, and they don't really have any kind of control over it. There's no, hey, your last day is going to be Friday, right? You know, it's just like it was for me. You show up and you do the best show you can, and if the boss wants to see you afterwards, they do, and then that's the end. You don't get to say goodbye. You don't get to do that stuff. So I feel bad for guys like Randy who are legends in the market who don't get to do that. You know, that we
Yeah.
were talking about. I swear I had a point I was going back to.
Your friend at Lowe's.
Thank you. Oh, all right, I'm stopping. I almost got political for a second. I stopped. Did you know what I was going to say?
No,
You know what
I
I was going
don't.
to say?
I don't.
Try the weave. I tried the weave. I got lost.
And most people do.
Sorry. So at that pirate radio station, as being the only person in town, they were like, do you know anybody that would like to help us out? Yes, I do. My buddy Matt came in and we had a great time until he was like, this industry is stupid. And then he went to work at Lowe's 24 years ago. They just let him go this week. And that sucks.
So he was
It's
probably
happening
fairly high up on the food chain then, right?
this is also, I think, a contributing factor to probably why guys like us got let go, and guys like Randy and Danny Mac get let go. It's because if you get too good, you cost money.
Mm-hmm.
And are you making the difference to generate revenue that can support your salary? Or can they just bring in some young kid who's as hungry as I was 20 years ago, or we were 14 years ago when we started working for $40,000 in a city where we ended up making over $100,000 each? Like, it was kind of wild just to think that we were at 50% of our actual, and not even max potential, to be honest. You know what I mean? We got our foot in the door. They could save 50% salaries from two guys who are known and are creative and do what they do, to just bringing it more than that, 75%, right? Let's be honest. You can only pay one person to do our job. People used to say that all the time to us. Hey, you guys together, you're like one good air personality. First off, rude. Second, yeah, man, it's tough. It's a lot to ask of someone. I don't know why your talent pool is shrinking.
Yeah.
But I digress. I think it could also be a state of the economy, but I think that it's also the way that people are doing things now. When I was at, okay, maybe I'm a problem. I'm about to tell you a story about how I went to Home Depot. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry. It's
You go to wherever is closer, in my opinion,
is
bro.
that what you do? Is you don't have a I
You
mean,
have a
you're
Home
right.
Depot closer,
I
Lowe's is further away, I go
Home
to
Depot
they're
Home
the same
Depot
to me.
is closer than Lowe's to me, but Blaine's Farm and Fleet is closer than both of them.
Yeah.
And now it's all Toyland. I can't even find anything for
I was
my
gonna say Farm Fleet's like a roll of the dice. They may or
the
may not have it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, no, I do.
It's like
Uh,
Ace Hardware.
yeah. Oh, man,
Maybe? Oh, a 2 by 4. It's $16. Sweet.
yeah, well, wood that's another topic too. Conspiracy. Dang it. We're staying away from it. We're staying away. So I went to Home Depot and I realized I don't know where to find a magnet. This vast store. Where do you find a magnet? I'll find somebody to help. Nobody. Like, you know what? There's nobody in the store. The guys that are up on forklifts or they're moving wood. I'm like, ah. So I pull out the app. I don't need someone to work at this store anymore. I could check out on my own. I could get my stuff. I hate that this is where we are, but the world is changing in this aspect of I don't order at McDonald's anymore. I don't stand in line for things. I used to put in a mobile order at most places, and now sometimes it's faster not to. It's weird. Like that's
Yeah.
supposed to be the faster way, but now everybody's doing that, so it's faster to literally walk in and order your coffee and walk out.
Yep.
It's backwards, but I think the world is backwards right now, but we're all going to be okay.
There's like
Um,
60 different Starbucks cups up on the mobile order area.
mhm.
They have it
No one in
separated
line.
by alphabet and yeah.
Yeah, but like nobody's in line. And by the way, people still waiting. They're like all sitting around just staring. Those poor baristas. I feel so bad for them. They're
Yeah.
like fish bowling, not happy. I mean, look, I'm an old bald white guy, so I don't get a hey, good morning very often at anywhere I go. But I think it would be cool. I look whenever like the little boppy girls come in, they're like, hello, good morning, welcome. I'm like, I want a boppy good morning. Why are you guys so sad? I don't think I complain. I just pick up. You guys have a Alicia? You know what I mean? I'm just looking for that. Um, yeah, we can move from unless there's anything else you want to talk about on the radio side of
No,
things.
I just wanted to throw in my condolences, I guess, and my I feel you. I understand what it feels like. It sucks. I know all of them will land on their feet somewhere, but and I don't ever want to come off, and we've said this before, I don't want to come off like I don't support the people who are currently working in radio. If you are on the front lines as a DJ or whatever, I don't want any of this to ever come off like I'm not on your team, because I very much am. I'm not on your boss's team, who is probably shit, and doesn't help in the slightest, and just fuels the,
Look,
today could be your last day, whatever.
I there are probably those two that are out there that do want to work, but they're drained as well. Like they will be the life force will be squeezed from them from above for them asking for more but not giving any more.
Yeah.
Can you do more with less? That'd be great. Thanks. Business. See you on
Mm.
the other side. Like it's terrible, man. And then I was an old saying my friends and I used to say, shit rolls downhill. You know what I mean? Like if I'm up here and there's some shit, it's coming. It's coming. You know what I mean? Like, um,
Yeah.
it be like that, as they say. Sometimes, it's too bad.
I wanted to ask you about something, changing subjects here. I saw a post that you had made on your Facebook
Yeah,
or Instagram or somewhere. I was like, these toys give me so many like
emotions.
emotions, right? I'm feeling something
I cried. I
that's
cried this
taking me
week.
back.
Yeah, I did. I cried this week. So like first the last not 80-degree day of the year just happened, and I was in the garage loving it. Um, and now it's 40 degrees as we record this, and we are officially in winter. The Halloween signs are gone, and I got a chance to clean out the garage. And so while I was doing that, you can see what I unearthed from what my mom and dad have been holding on to probably for decades at this point. When I moved out, of course, I left behind some toys. Everybody does. Well, they didn't let me forget it, and they kept it in a box. And I finally got a chance to, now that I have a home, to open that box and see what was in there. And first off, didn't know so many people knew Battle Cat. What an icon. But I also had an old Nintendo, the G.I. Joe action figure headquarters from like in the 80s. This was a big deal. That like you didn't just have that HQ. This is how big a deal it was. We wouldn't get rid of it 40 years later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's how my mom and dad were like, nope, not throwing that out. Paid too much for it back in 1983 when that came out.
Uh-huh.
I see you typing. Are you looking to see how much money it's worth now? Because I've done that Googling.
I'm just looking to remind myself of what it. I know that I've played with this. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
It's got the turret on the front and everything.
Yeah. And it had like a little place you could put the tank and raise it up so the dudes could get underneath it and do some work. And then it had a jail in the back for Cobra Commander and the other Cobra. Anyway, it was broken. We took it in the bathtub like we did all of our toys. It's why I'm not a millionaire. It's why I don't still have the AT-AT from Star Wars and any of my other stuff. We ruined all our toys. I distinctly remember putting lighter fluid on the Rattler, which was a G.I. Joe, like a plane that had the wings that could go down.
Yeah, dude.
My brother and I were idiots, and we put lighter fluid, lit it on fire so that we could experience 2 seconds of the fiery G.I. Joe plane going down. And then we didn't think past that. Now we just had flaming plastic in the front yard. What are we going to do?
This is so real.
My mom and dad bought that. And when they found it, we were grounded. Like I paid $8 for this. I mean, go out of your room. You know what? We were in so much trouble. And it's just these memories we have. I'm sorry. No, like, I don't want to get sad. My brother is no longer with us. We didn't really get along very well. It was that was at the earliest. We were like kids. That was probably some of the last times we really got along, but memories, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same thing with the Nintendo. So a buddy of ours actually commented on it. Ben, one of the amazing video talents that we worked with during our time in St. Louis said, hey, I'll take that Nintendo. We talked a little bit. He's been refurbishing video game consoles, showed me an amazing Game Boy he has.
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, he's like, I could fix up that Game Boy for you. So like he might have a home for my Nintendo. The actual Nintendo I got in 1985 that I played Duck Hunt with on my day. I don't think it works anymore. It's pretty beat up, as you can see. It doesn't even have the faceplate on the front of it anymore.
Yeah, I was going to say, you lost that door. There you
go. You know what? Lost it in a fit of rage, I'm sure.
In the bathtub.
No, we didn't take that. I don't think I'd be here if I took that in the bathtub. But I will say thank you, Nintendo, for giving me what I can't get in this era, which is the feeling of what it was like to have like a mace. Those controllers on a string were just a morning star. You know what I mean? It's just it's a weapon. And so when we didn't win at Ninja Gaiden and it was game over, by the way, you didn't have continues. You started at level 1 again. There was no save. That was when it turned into a weapon. And that was when my Nintendo, I don't know why it's the hat, but you know what I'm doing. Yeah. Like the window on the front of it, you can see it. So I think I found a good home for the Nintendo. Battle Cat is here on the shelf.
Nice.
Along with that McDonald's French fry toy.
Yes.
And I don't know if anybody could see it. So it was very small, but let me see if this shows up here. Come on. That's the 1994 World Blockbuster Video Game Championships.
Wow.
That's a real thing.
Wow. Did you win that?
No, I probably just got the pin when I rented a video game or something.
Item.
Oh, no. I think they had like a qualifier where you could go in and play, and it was probably just some way to market to parents. Gotcha. But yeah, I was a kid, and I found that and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, man, I cried this week because I was thinking the same thing. Like these memories, these emotions. I'm throwing a lot of this stuff out. Like those G.I. Joe parts, I searched eBay. It's like assorted G.I. Joe headquarter parts, $5. Recycle bin.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot. There is this one that has 0 bids on it. That's $2,500 for all in and box and everything. I was trying to look for sold.
That's the pristine, right?
I was trying to look for sold items to see, what the average is, but it looks like it's in the neighborhood of about $100 to $200 for the whole set. But if you
and if it's in good condition, so all of these things were just plastic, and they had like little hooks on the bottom so that they held into the other plastic. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Every hook is broken. Nothing is salvageable from this thing. It was pure nostalgia. There's like no one who like it was in it was in the tub. So when you open the computer screen, the stickers are like bubbled. You know what I mean? Like it's cooked. No one wants any of it. Not to mention it smells like where it was stored for the last 30 years next to the cat litter. So really
Very ammonia smelling.
the memories are the only thing remaining at this point for the GI Joe base. For the Transformer, they have moved on to the same place when I was a kid, and we moved the same place that my pet Theodore, the bulldog we had, went. Just a better place. Don't worry about it. It was
Yeah.
kind of like how we, like what happened to Theodore? Well, he's with his family. Okay.
Okay.
I swear, 30 years later, I remember watching something and going, oh, Theodore. And having the realization that I don't think I was told the truth. But that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, but I did a lot of that stuff and I felt like I couldn't get rid of it. But then I feel like a lot of people have stuff like this on their shelves. This is GoldenEye, by the way.
Hell
This
yeah.
N64 GoldenEye.
Mhm.
And like this is my college, or I'm sorry, my high school diploma. Like you don't have a shelf with a squishy taco on it? I think a lot of us have this kind of like nostalgia area.
Yeah. I
You know?
have a bunch of things that I wanna set up, but they're all in boxes right now. I have
I have
a
always
bunch
had
of
that
Funko
too.
Pops and a bunch of, like,
Yeah.
Legos and things like that I wanna set up and display somewhere, but
Lego Grogu, Lego
yeah.
Mando. Yes,
Oh
yeah,
my god.
yeah, and this is the first time I've ever had a place. I've always rented places, and now that I actually have a home, I'm like, "All right, I'm unboxing all this stuff and finding a place for it." So, now that I got the garage cleaned out, we're stuck. It's cold. I've got indoor projects. I'm looking at, um, the all the storage stuff I have to go through now because I cleaned the garage, moved it indoors. Found a bunch of card game stuff from when I was a kid. Like I played Star Wars card games and different stuff. I swear I've got
Magic the
basketball.
Gathering.
I never got into Magic. I know how to play it. I had friends that played it. They would lend me their deck. I would hold their deck in my hand. Damn it! I
When
tried.
when you were playing with your friend's deck.
I, it's so hard.
It is.
His deck. Anyway, no, I knew how to play, but I didn't invest in that. I invested in the Star Wars card game, to which now I have a lot of Star Wars cards and no return on investment. I actually met my friend Matt from Lowe's. I played the card game with and messaged him sadly the day before he got let go to be like, "Hey bro, hope you're doing well. I found all this stuff." And then the next day post. So
Ah,
it's tough out there. Life's hard, man. I'm crying. People are getting fired. We're just trying to smile. I think everybody's just trying to spend time smiling.
mhm.
I feel like that's what we were just trying to do our whole time. Was bring some smiles, have some fun, right?
I found something
What?
that I need to put back together, but you're speaking of like nostalgia. This is not
Mhm.
a toy, but this is it's a bell that hung in my grandparents' kitchen.
Oh,
That's an owl,
yeah.
and it's strung together by like a leather strap, but it's like a leather like shoestring thing.
Okay.
And
So,
these are the feet.
and it's
I,
not a win. Oh, it's a bell. Okay, I see. That's the bell. That thing
yeah,
that's hanging is it rings it. Okay, okay.
exactly. So I've been so one thing I wanted when my grandparents passed. This was like back in 2003. So this is a long time ago, but it's funny how, and I don't know if it's just the age we're at right now, but reaching for simpler time. I don't know if it's this year. I don't know if it's the environment that we're currently living in that we're reaching for nostalgia because we know that it will create smile or memories or happier times. But yeah, I feel you on all that.
It's funny you say that. I was just talking with Keaton and some other folks. He was watching something, And it's like, he said, "Oh, it's just this person just compliments people and whatever." And I was like, are we moving past the troll phase of the internet? And are we about to move into the wholesome, like,
I hope so.
nice? I hope so too. That would be great. But like when I was a kid, it was chaos. Your parents were hiding everything from you. You know what I mean? And I always thought access to the internet is going to show you all the terrible things in the world. But maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe because it's all there, they can go, "Oh, that's fucked up. I'm getting away from that." You know what I mean? Instead of being curious about it.
Yeah.
Because I think I have a lot of demon hours logged. You know what I mean? I have a lot of tomfoolery in my past where I was like doing stuff people definitely said I shouldn't. Um, and maybe if I had seen a lot of the videos I see on the internet now, I wouldn't. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
I think I'm ready for the counterculture stuff to
Me
stop.
too.
the
Yeah.
the sky is blue. No, it's
Yeah.
not. The earth is round. No, no. It's all of that. Like it's you could scientifically prove these things.
Then there are also people who you can't tell if they're trolling for real or not. Like they just want to get you riled up to say no because they know that you're like whatever. Or are they actually, wearing that tinfoil hat? I don't know. Sometimes it's a meme. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you
Yeah.
get real surprised by the people who are, I don't know, shopping next to you or whatever.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah. And I would love to move on from all that kind of stuff. I think I could probably speak for a lot of people in this, especially when it comes to family, but there's that like w- weird tension when you're hanging out with people that aren't in the same value system as you are politically.
oh,
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
uh-oh.
But like there's like you'll be around friends and you'll be looking for little cues like how can I talk to this person, and how can I tailor the conversation so that we don't go down these paths and things. It sucks not to be able to just talk as humans anymore.
Mhm. And I think another point to getting older, it gets harder as you get older. Not only do you have more weighing on it, but you care less as a kid. I think you don't even look at that stuff when you were a kid.
Yeah, I'm
For
gonna go
for a
back.
lot of folks,
I'm gonna stop
it's
looking.
it's and well, I mean, it's hard to avoid. First off, as I've said this in other podcasts, like it's a lot of personalities that are just 100%. This is who I am, and that's cool. Like if that's who you are, you do you. Not trying to tell you who to be, but also you should. I don't like to tell people who to be, but also you should not tell people who to be.
Yeah.
That's not me telling you who to be. That's just like you shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't say it. You know what I'm trying to say though? Like I would love us all to have the ability to say what we want to say, but also like, cool. Anyway, uh, do you like tigers? You know what I mean? Like there's different stuff that can unite us. There's a
on
lot more that can divide us.
on our
Um,
on our non-political
yeah,
podcast, we're like Icarus and we are flying
close to the
very
sun.
close to the sun.
You want to take a sharp. Let's take a sharp turn.
Let's go to the solar system that doesn't exist.
All right, here we go. I'm sharing my screen
Okay.
so that you can see an article that I came across the other day
Alright.
of Amanda Bynes.
Oh, hell yes.
Before I dive into Amanda Bynes in this article that I found,
My girl.
we need to get some history. Something we never really talked about on the show because we only had 2 minutes at a time. Hold on, don't read the story yet. Don't dive in. Look at you read the story. Brother, hey, brother, you need glasses? You getting close there?
No, it's just very
Is it
small.
time? Oh, it's all sure. You control the size of the screen. I'm kidding. Let's talk about where it started for you with Amanda Bynes. Whenever we get to talk about it, we got to talk about something we had to glance through really fast. Remy used to be obsessed with Amanda Bynes,
Yes.
but let's dive in.
Yeah.
What happened? Where did it start? When did you first see Amanda Bynes, and what was it that made you say, "I think I like this girl"?
Well, it kind of started with, growing up with Snick. Do you remember Snick?
Nickelodeon, yes, yeah.
It was basically the Saturday Night Live for kids on Nickelodeon. And so Keenan and Kel were huge, and Amanda Bynes was on the show, and they did these little skits, and they were hilarious, and whatever. But we were all kids at that point, and still growing. In high school, Remy noticed that Amanda Bynes was in a movie called What a Girl Wants. And I remember going, I think it was like we were at like Lord of the Rings Two Towers screening or something. We were watching that, but like the previews beforehand showed this movie, and I was like, I am unbelievably attracted to this girl right now.
Okay.
Because she was normal at the time. She was funny. She had a sense of humor. She was like physical comedy, and
You were
did her own stunts.
right? Like you were young kids. She didn't look like that, and to be fair, you didn't look like this.
True.
So it was a different time. But where did it go from there?
So she she continued down this whole road of, she did a whole bunch of these like teen kind of movies. Did the show What I Like About You, I think, was a TV show that she did. But yeah, I followed her. I was like girls to Justin Bieber as a child. As I'm doing this metaphor wrong, but
You're great.
Or Taylor Swift, girls that admire Taylor Swift, or that fandom had started for me. So I kind of went down that road and was all for Amanda Bynes. So much so that when I was 18 years old and dumb and had some sort of disposable income, went on eBay and just bought some of her wardrobe from the movie What I Like About You, or What a Girl Wants. It's wardrobe. This is what happens on Hollywood sets when they're done with the movie.
Pause. Okay. How you went on eBay? You said, is that where you?
Yes,
you bought. Okay, so clothes, and you were. How old were you at this time? I'm sorry.
I was 18. I was stupid. Okay, I was young and dumb.
When you're 18. I don't feel you are an adult. You don't know what you're doing when you are 18.
Obviously.
Even if the government says, yeah, sure. You can go fight our wars.
Yeah. So I had this idea that I was going to buy this t-shirt that she had worn, which turned out to be, I think, 100% a scam. I do not think that these are her actual, like, was actually ever worn. It may have been in wardrobe for that movie, but they just, like, Breaking Bad is a good example. They, once Breaking Bad was over, they started to sell all of the set pieces from the show, and you could have a piece of Breaking Bad in your house. How cool would that be? And that same thing happened with the show, I believe. And so, yeah, somewhere at my parents' house, there's a box, and it has clothing and every magazine she had ever appeared in a binder. I was obsessed, and I'm saddened because I think that a lot of her struggle psychologically came from that era of her life.
I think it did too. I think we've all learned a little bit about that.
Yeah. There was that documentary that they did where they touched on the Amanda show and, the producers that were grooming and all of the things. And
yeah.
I think that psychologically she just never really recovered from that. And I cannot speak from her point of view, and I do not want to judge, and I do not
making
want
fun of that either in any way, shape, or form. I want to know more about this guy's obsession than I do anything that is, you know what I mean? That happened up here. I want to know what happened over here. That led us up here.
Well, I just thought, here's the bottom line here is, I thought in my 18-year-old body, if Amanda Bynes and Remy met one time, we would hit it off, and it would be like we would just know. That was my feeling at the time.
Well, did you think happily ever after, white picket fence, or did you think then we're gonna start a show and we're gonna sing, and what
No, happily ever after.
Okay, so it was
my wife until she found the stash of all the things that I had purchased with
I guess,
her
yeah.
face
How
on
does
the
it
cover at
oh my
some
gosh,
point.
yeah, you wouldn't have told her?
It's
Okay.
like the moment in Ace Ventura when he finds Ray Finkel's box at the the psychological ward.
Yeah. Uh, uh, so, did you see the Netflix documentary, the Nickelodeon thing? I didn't watch it
Yeah,
myself, but you watched it,
I did,
and,
yeah.
obviously, I saw this. I guess I know the TLDR, right? Like, oh, holy crap. Like, when I was a kid, I wasn't watching the, like, how do I say, IRL content. I was watching like David the Gnome and cartoons and
Yeah.
puppets and things like that. So like the kids in shows era happened after I was a kid. Like I didn't get to the Mickey Mouse Club wasn't like doing
Salute
what
Your
it
Shorts, Hey Dude,
I remember Hey Dude and Salute Your Shorts, but
Wild
I'm
and
a
Crazy Kids.
yeah, but I wasn't like a kid. I might have been like hitting my teens around those times in the
Yeah, you
90s
had
and stuff.
definitely aged out of that category for sure at that point.
Yeah,
And
but
you're not even that much older than me. It's
right,
just
no,
like it
mentally
was
as well,
very
I'm younger.
it was very specific to, like, I don't know, maybe 10 to
Mhm.
12-year-olds or 9 to 12-year-olds.
Right, right, and a lot of it was '90s kinda stuff, where and I vividly remember, like, going to 7th grade, having a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and having a kid go, "You still play with toys?" And going, "Oh, I need to be someone else now." You know what I mean? And, I don't know, life's weird, but
Yeah.
it's more weird if you were in a Nickelodeon show is what we found out. Um, and so I saw a dramatic makeover, and it looks like she, kinda got a little hair a little dye going on over here. Actually, I think I should say they. I don't think they identify as female anymore. I could be wrong. Um, but there was a lot of questions that led me to um, how you came to know Amanda Bynes and kind of where you landed.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like it was just the facade that maybe she had put on for so many years, while she was going through everything that they were going through on those sets, and manipulation by adults and all of the things to make the money for the shows. And
It's
at
real
the end,
sad. Yeah,
it is super sad. And
they
um
take the kids, life away, essentially, right? Like they I hate to say I feel like it was where Michael Jackson it happened with Michael Jackson, it
yeah,
happened with Corey Feldman. There's so many kids. I mean, there's again, we're avoiding the conspiracy corner here. Just saying maybe you want to have your kids have a normal childhood before you go throwing them into being literally the reason that you don't have to work anymore,
yeah, yeah.
Poor Justin Biebers of the world who knows what happened.
Even with, like, he's been through some ups and downs, right? But he's still somewhat normal in a relative to all of his peers that have kind of grown up in that.
You mean Justin Bieber?
Yeah, he seems very, like, there's not a whole lot of scandal with him that we know of at this point. But I would also be the same way. Every time I see him now, it's people asking for autographs or photos, and him being like, "Not today, guys, not today," and then boom, into the van, and he's
Really?
gone.
Yeah. I know that there's a lot of like with the Diddy stuff, there was a little bit of Justin, if anything, I think he's kind of been a victim in the grand scheme of things. I don't think he's done a lot of stuff that was weird or whatever. I think that if anything, people took advantage of and like they do, which is the problem with Amanda Bynes and what happened with Michael Jackson, who probably like these kids just want to be kids, and instead it's like you better act or you
Yeah.
better get out there and moonwalk. You're too busy moonwalking to know what it's like to be a kid. So I guess when you're 40 and rich, you're gonna buy a train set, a monkey, and a circus, and it'll be home.
Yep.
It's hard to say to people you're different, now be normal. Uh,
Yeah.
it's unfair.
Yeah. So I do hope the best, and I always have hoped the best for Amanda Bynes. And I know that I'm kind of associated with her in a lot of my friend groups and things, and they'll send me those, and I'm like, she is still a human being at the end of the day, and
Yeah.
she is still, going through the stuff. And um, I always hope the best for her, but her chopping her hair is not surprising to me. The face tattoo is not surprising to me. Like none of that's really
Well, it's
surprising
more and
anymore.
more acceptable too, and a lot
Yeah.
like more and more these days it's I remember I did not want to get a tattoo for so long because people went to tattoos to stand out and be different, and now I feel like so many people have tattoos that it is very hard to be different. You know what I mean? When you have tattoos. I think I saw like the Cat Von D and Machine Gun Kelly who did like the full black just because they had too many tattoos and you can only cover up so many times before it becomes what you not just a solid black. Now
Yeah.
you're walking a line, black face bad, black body okay. No, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it seems like we're getting there. I've seen Jelly Roll's got a little this and that and this and that, and your Post Malones, and then slippery slope.
Yeah.
You guys be careful.
I was gonna
Uh,
say you're probably still unique.
well, I don't know a lot of people that have their former employers tattooed on their arms and are legally bound to not show that in any capacity at any time anymore. So
There's probably a handful of you.
yeah, there might
They
be.
probably didn't work for the company, but they may be super fans.
Yeah, no, I
They got the
when
trip to somewhere for tattooing the station on them, right?
we there is someone with an Everyone Loves Mason and Everybody Loves Mason tattoo on their ass in Saginaw.
Nice.
It got
See?
covered up. We got it to them for free. They did it in the studio. Like, we used to do fun things on the radio. Now, you go in and they fire you.
Yeah.
That's the funnest thing happening in the radio business today. I wish I could say, something different.
Well,
Yeah, well, but hey,
yeah, so
the promise of no politics was fulfilled. Okay. Okay. I want to look in hindsight and say we walked the razor's edge. We got close. We stayed away. It did not, it was not maybe the most upbeat and loving episode. Maybe in the next one we can pick some positivity to dive into. You know what I like? This is a good thought. In the next episode, when we first came back, when we did our first episode, I took a few screenshots and I loved it. I don't know if you do this like I do. Do you read the Meta AI summary of comments?
I've done that on some things. And it's very funny.
It is very funny, and maybe we'll bring a little bit of that in the next episode. Maybe in the next episode too, we should talk about some like have a bigger topic other than just this episode is an anti-topic. No politics.
Love that.
We didn't have a topic. We were anti-topic because topic for everyone everywhere is one thing today. We're happy that hopefully we could provide about a 1 hour and 10, 12 minute escape for you to go to somewhere that has nothing to do with the people that we elected yesterday. I'm kidding. I'm just now I'm poking the bear. Now I'm poking the bear. Maybe in the next episode we can revisit Conspiracy Corner because maybe we'll have a president by then.
Maybe we do now though.
Maybe we do. I guess we'll never know. Kanye West.
Maybe I've started digging a bunker.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe that's pretty cool, actually. I'm jealous, man. I planted garlic last week and I was tired. Like it was 7 inches down. You're building a bunker? Ooh, 5 years is really killing me right now.
Yeah, just some pilot holes, with the good old drill to see if there's any aquifers or anything.
The helicopter. You haven't seen the helicopters over here? No. And we dove in. All right, we gotta go. We gotta wrap it up. Appreciate you watching. Thank you. If you have not yet, make sure you find us on all the major platforms. Perhaps this one that you're watching isn't the only one where you can find us on different podcast platforms like Apple or Pandora or Amazon or YouTube. Have you found us on Twitter or Instagram? Did you know that we have a Threads? There's a TikTok as well. Did I get it all? I don't
think so.
I think so too. Their links are all in the description of this video. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Music intensifies. Oh, I'm not supposed to read that part. I'm sorry.
We'll see you. Bye-bye.